Hello, Internet. Welcome to Making Money. My name's Eric, and this is your Daily Dollar, our financial segment where I give you one financial lesson every day to help you on your financial journey. Today's lesson is really simple. In fact, it's something you're doing right now, whether you realize it or not. You may be doing this for a while now. This could be something new. You may be really strong at this. But today's lesson is never stop learning. Plain and simple. This is by far not a new a new idea or a new lesson for a lot of people out there. Heck, the idea of knowledge is power dates back to the 10th century. It was first recorded in a book in the 10th century by Imam Ali, I think it was. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But the whole point is that this isn't an earth-shattering discovery, right? Being a learner, being actively engaged in learning is super helpful. It's not something that we talk about very often, though. That's why I wanted to make it today's point to the lesson that we talk about today. So we're going to be talking about how to become a lifelong learner. How someone cultivates curiosity. We'll get there. How you stay, how do you gratify a thirst for knowledge? How you get yourself on this road where you continually learn new ideas and experience new things. So first off, we're going to go through ways that you can become a lifelong learner. And then we'll break down the really important reasons why this is such a big thing. So to start off with, nice and simple, you need to recognize that, like I said, this is something you're already doing to some degree. All right, you're watching this video, chances are you're trying to get information. Now, this is something you could be doing in your everyday life. You go down the street, you pass, a newsstand. Do they have newsstands still? I don't know. You pass a newsstand and you read, a headline, or, you pick up a magazine in a store, right? In a way, your curiosity, you're actively searching for information. Now, these are small bits of information. There may be larger things like, hey, you realize I don't know how to, let's say you don't know how to play chess, right? One day and you say, hey, you know what? I think I want to learn how to play chess. So you pick that game up and you start learning. Just the fact that you went out there and sought that knowledge is a step in the right direction. So in some degree, you're already doing this. Whether it's small little bit-sized things or more active learning, recognize that you are learning. Especially recognize it as you're doing it, because that's going to help with becoming a lifelong learner. So second, this one's a little more difficult, to be honest, and a little bit more introspective. And this is discover what you don't know. Now, it can be hard for people, anybody, to really know what they don't know, just by definition. I mean, it's an area that you're not familiar with. I'm sure that I know very little about, say, I don't know, the boating industry, right? I don't own a boat. I think I've gone out on a boat maybe once in the last 3 or 4 years. I don't know a lot about boats, but that's an area that I can look at and be like, I'm weak when it comes to boats. That's an area that I can identify as an area that I could learn from, right? Now, for me, boats may not have a draw and interest, but there's things that you don't know about that you may still be interested in. Heck, I might start looking into boats and discover, hey, I really like boats. Now I know a bunch of stuff about boats that I didn't before. Looking up information on boats might lead me to other things that I do find more interesting. If I, look into, watercraft and I say, hey, jet skis are awesome. Now I'm onto this whole thing about jet skis. My point is that if you identify the things that you don't know, this can help you to start off on where to look for more information. The third thing is to be curious. Ask questions. This is huge. The more that you can make yourself a curious person, I can't explain how much of an impact it can have with with your active learning, right? You're putting yourselves in situations where you go, well, how's that work? Or I didn't know that, please show me. Or, can you explain this process, right? When you ask, chances are you didn't know, or you thought you knew, but you might not have been 100% sure. Getting clarity or the information that you didn't have is a huge step. This is the actual active learning segment. This is where you're going in day after day, or, learning new tasks or skills and experiences and stuff like that. This is the legwork, really. So be curious. Ask those questions. The next part is get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Kind of a weird one, but much like staying curious, put yourselves into situations that you're not quite familiar with. I try to do this with my professional life. I always try to stick myself into some role at some point that I either know, I don't want to say little about, but I'm not very, trained on, or I don't have a ton of experience with, rather. When you put yourself in these situations, you have to learn. You're now forced to learn because you've got no other way. And the amount that you pick up from putting yourself into situations where you really have little expertise, it's earth-shattering. It really can do a lot for, what you pick up. You as a person will actually absorb more in those situations than you would normally. So putting yourselves into those kind of situations can really help you learn. It can be uncomfortable. A lot of times we as people don't like to put ourselves in situations where we're not comfortable or where we don't feel like we have the knowledge. A lot of times people won't move up in their career or move into a new role because it's scary and it's different, and those kind of blocks can really stop you from learning a lot. So if you recognize that you're doing that you're being averse to new situations because it's a change or it's something you're not quite familiar with, take a second, collect, and think maybe you can learn a lot from this situation. So that's a huge step in the lifelong learner process. Finally, and this is huge, and you're doing it right now, use the resources at your disposal, whether it be people at your job or friends and family. People have information that you don't. Whether it be books, be sure to read all sorts of things. I know I personally am not a strong reader. I say as I sit in front of my wife's library. My wife is a huge reader. I tend to collect most of my information from PDFs online. I do text to speech so I can listen to PDFs. I do videos like these, YouTube videos. I mean, the internet is huge. LinkedIn Learnings, go check out LinkedIn Learnings. If you're not familiar with them, that's huge. YouTube videos. I mean, you could basically get a degree without the piece of paper by going on YouTube. It's amazing the amount of information that's out there that's available to you. Master classes now are a huge thing. So the information is there. The more active you can be in going out and using those resources and getting it it's gigantic. So the big question is, yes, I now know how to be a lifelong learner. I know to keep learning, but why would I want to keep learning? What's going to be the payoff besides all this sporadic information? Well, the better you understand how things interact, it can really help you shape your mindset of the world. All right. So when you learn about small little different areas, you start to realize that things have a lot of overlap. And this can be, small things from, that kind of terminology is used in this completely separate thing that I know about, to anything up to, the masses of now I understand the strings that control the system. Like it's all of that stuff. All right. So the first real thing it does is it lets you see patterns and connections that you wouldn't have seen, previously. Which can be big. Next, it can actually make you more agile and flexible in things like decision-making and troubleshooting, because you have the information, these bits of different information, you're actually able to say, okay, I get into this situation, something goes wrong, you know? If you're focused in one area and everybody that looks at this problem is focused in the same area, they're gonna come up with the same ideas, same conclusions are gonna be drawn. If you have information from other places, you might be able to look at that slightly differently and go, oh, we have to do X, Y, and Z, and that'll take care of this. Having those insights can be huge. And that kind of leads us into our next thing, that these little skills, even though they're not, maybe not proper, you know, skills that someone has given you, you know, again, that fancy piece of paper for, or, you know, you've gotten college credit for, then these skills still make you more valuable to an employer. And they allow you to increase your earning potential, whether it is for an employer or working for yourself or whatever the situation may be. You're actually making your time, your skills, more valuable to others. And this is good. Obviously, we're talking about finances here. So this is like one of the highlights, right? You want to make yourself more valuable to whoever it is that your client is or your employer is. The biggest thing, though, all of this is great, but the one thing that I would say culminates everything else is that you're creating more opportunities for yourself, all right? Whether it's, you know, increasing your learning potential, or your earning potential, your learning potential as well. Whether it's being more flexible or agile, whether it's understanding how things interact, you are really opening doors for yourself. Things that you wouldn't have seen before now are more clear to you. You may see, hey, I can go off and do this line of work, or I wasn't even aware this was a job. I would like to do that. Or even, you know, I have an idea for a new business that no one's doing and I think would be amazing. These kind of things really are what we're after, right? We're seeing those possibilities that we didn't see before. So today's lesson, super simple, but probably one of my longest videos, is to keep on learning. As always, guys, I hope you're enjoying these lessons. Get out there and learn. If you like this video, leave a like. Be sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this series. If you're down in the comments, you know, let me know how you're learning. Is there something that I missed? Is there something that you're doing to learn that others aren't? I would like to learn that. But as always, have a great day, guys. Best of luck with your financial journeys and goals. And you can always hit me up on Twitter in the link below. And I will catch you tomorrow for another lesson. All right, guys. Bye.